Hi there, this is Chris Leahy with Rockin Farm, and I'm bringing you episode 3 of the Rockin Chronicles. So, as you remember, in episode 1, I told you that often my greatest lessons are learned through mistakes, and that I enjoy educating people, so that hopefully I could teach you at least what not to do. In episode 2, I showed you some of the mistakes that I've made, and here we are in episode 3, and I'm going to give you another what not to do. So, brand new homesteader, still having to work a full-time job out of town, wanted to get a garden going this year. So I and my son and a couple of my kids busted our humps to run all of this fence and to get these garden boxes in and to get all of these pots planted and to have this place looking beautiful and wonderful. And that was all done as of about the middle of February. We were all ready for that spring planting season. And then life happened. We got busy. We didn't have money to go out and buy the stock to put in the garden. We didn't have time to put anything in the garden. I didn't have time to go to the store to buy stuff. And it ended up that the garden looked about like this. Yeah. We had about 4 or 5 feet of weeds. You can still see some of the remnants here. So that's a gate that you can't get out. Wild gourds that love to grow across our property. A few big old sunflowers, which were a nice surprise. And all kinds of, while some are useful, some are just weeds, thistles and little pokey thorn bushes and all sorts of hitchhikers and stuff like that. So this was looking absolutely horrible. And I first had to spend hours and hours and hours hacking all of this down so that I could even get into my garden to get a few hot weather things planted. I've got a few cucumbers in. I've got a few herbs in. I've got a couple of different varieties of peppers that are known to really like the hotter weather. And I've got a few of some cherry tomatoes that are, again, a breed that seems to like the hotter weather a little bit. And that's really all I was able to get into my garden this year, but it's just going to have to be good enough. It's going to have to be good enough for now because we're just very limited on our time. So I guess another lesson that I can learn you or teach you, help you learn, is another what not to do. When you're just getting started on the homestead, and especially if you're having to work a full-time job too, don't overcommit yourself. Don't get yourself into a place where what you think is a priority ends up being way down the list, or reprioritize if necessary. Sell a few extra things to make sure you have the money to get that garden in on time. So again, one little shot looking over the garden here. Very minimal garden, but there are all things that we will use in our products in our home. And again, this is Chris Leahy coming to you from Rockin Farm.